And we're live!
Welcome to Destination Divas.
So excited to be here. I'm here with Jenny Club.
And I'm here with Trish Warren.
And we are so excited to talk about, I can't believe they don't have that here. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that Europe does not have.
Right.
That Canada
that you
has.
need to prepare for when you're packing.
But before we do that, that'll come a little later on. Before we do that, today I get to interview Jenny about Europe. Now, why am I interviewing Jenny about Europe? Well, she's been there a lot, especially recently. And so she has some really great tips on traveling. And so, Jenny, in the last year, you have been to Portugal, Spain, Italy, and France, all in less than a year.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. In September, I went with my sister and my niece and nephew. It was so much fun. We went to Portugal and Spain, and then just got back from France and Italy.
Nice.
So basically the lower part of the southern part of Europe. So
yeah,
and they were all fantastic. And I have so many great tips to share about all these different places. So
cool. All right. So can you give us a few tips on how you prepare for a trip to Europe?
Yes. Well, I mean, a trip anywhere, basically. But
yeah, but sometimes Europe might be it's a little longer away.
Exactly.
So, and you're usually there a little bit longer, so the preparation is probably a little different than a weekend away.
Right. Exactly. So one of the first things, I love planning for trips, and I get totally into it and search out things and compare. And so when I finally do make my, plans of where I'm going, my hotels and flights and the in-between transportation, so I do a full-on itinerary. And
wow, like that sounds like a travel agent.
Oh, I know. I probably should. Yeah, I would have been a travel agent on steroids.
Okay, so when you say you prep, like how many months ahead of time do you do this?
Well, always different. Sometimes it could be some last minute. I mean, this last one was probably in the last, just in the last month or 2 months. But sometimes it could be a year ahead in prepping. It just depends. I mean, obviously, the earlier you do it, the better. Especially if it's into a busy season for Europe. June's a great time to go. In the summer, it gets crazy because everybody's on vacation.
Yes, everyone's on vacation right now.
Yes, exactly, and it gets more expensive. But sometimes it just depends on what's happening in the rest of my life. But basically, though, I take I type out everything, like literally every single detail, because the worst thing, when you go on vacation and you get off the plane and you have jet belts.
Yeah, jet bounce now. We don't say jet lag.
Yes. And, you just want to get to your hotel room or your Airbnb. And so you want to make sure that you have all your information right there. It's easy access and you get there. So literally I have this itinerary put together in order of everything. So the plane flight and then the how I'm getting from the airport to where I'm staying, and then your activities for that day, and then just literally it's all in a time frame of day to day. So, and also for some of the really important items, like confirmation numbers or phone numbers of the Airbnb or locations, I actually take pictures of them with my phone.
That's a really good idea, especially with today's technology. Right. You just take pictures of everything.
Exactly.
You need to know.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, because you never know if you lose your luggage and your itineraries in there. Right. And saying that, I always make sure that someone has a copy of our itinerary, just so they also know.
You are organized.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, for one, it's fun for that person who has it to kind of see, where are they going to be on these days? And then also, for safety, if all of a sudden we disappear, then, people might have a little bit of an idea of where
you might be.
Where we might be. So
you actually worried about that. You think about that. Not worried. You think about that. If you disappeared, they would know where you are.
me, I'm always safety oriented also, but I never worry about it, but it's always good to be prepared. And they also say it's good to have a copy of your passport also left at home if your passport is ever stolen. So if you need to retrieve the
I never
information.
thought of that, taking a photocopy of it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and some people, you can take a picture on your phone, but again, if your phone ever got stolen, accidentally, you really don't want to have your passport information out there.
True.
But so it's good to have a copy at home that if you lost it, you could phone and get access to that.
Okay.
So
good idea.
Because probably when you're traveling, your number one most important item is your passport.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that.
Yeah. So also I do. I have a packing list. I also have a packing list. Well,
okay. So when you say you have a packing list, is it? Do you have like stored in your computer packing list, like for Europe, packing for Canada, like different categories?
I have a general packing list, but I had a packing list where it was, if it was camping, I had a camping packing list, or if it was just going to the interior for the weekend, I had a packing list, or a long distance. I didn't get as specific as packing list for Europe, but but I do have a general packing list, and I use it all the time, which is very important so that you don't forget anything, Trish.
Okay, I don't have a list.
No.
Well, my list is in here. It's in my head.
And that's the trouble. So
it serves me well so far.
Well, I know that I've arrived at locations with Trish. No toothpaste, forgot the toothpaste, the bathing suit a couple times.
Oh, only once,
okay.
I thought, maybe twice.
Yeah, I think maybe twice. A sweater one time. I don't know. There's been a few times. So I'm going to send you that checklist.
But then I just have to go shopping.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's, well, we know my husband too, what he does. Every single trip. He needs to have
yeah, that's hilarious. Does he have a list?
No, I'm not.
Okay, this is funny because every time I ever travel with Jenny and her husband, Doug, we get there and Doug forgets his hat.
Or glasses. It's either the hat or the glasses. And then
he wants to buy a new hat, and Jenny goes, "You're not buying it. We have so many of these hats at home. You're not buying another hat." But of course he has to buy another hat, or else he's going to get a sunburn on his head.
Yeah, and guess what he forgot for our Europe trip?
His hat?
His hat, yes. And I'm like, you are not buying one of those ugly baseball caps again. I'm not having another baseball cap in our house. So I made him buy one of those, I don't know what you call them, the men's hats, but they're kind of like, like a cowboy hat, but it's like a fancy hat.
I saw it. It's really nice.
What's it called? No.
So I know what you're going to say. It starts with a T.
Yeah, something, but.
Tilly.
But anyway, so it's more unique, and but
so you made him get a good one this time.
Yes, well, I mean, good as you can get in a market, but can you believe it? We came back home, and guess what's in this cupboard? One of those hats.
No way! Yeah, so you had the idea before.
So we must have had to do this like a few years ago, and I just forgot. So anyway, I could give him. But I am not going to start packing for him, but I could give him the packing list. I think I'm going to have to do that.
So. I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Now that explains the packing list you guys gave me when you guys took me away for my birthday, and it was a surprise.
Right. Yeah.
And you walked in and you had this list. I'm like, why? What's this list?
Well,
I don't need a list.
You had 5 minutes to pack your bag, so I thought I would help you out by having
that was fun.
For your surprise party. But
that was fun. I had no idea I was going away for the weekend.
Yeah. And then a couple of things just to remember. Make sure you get your exchange, your cash in the foreign currency that you're going to. It's always good, like especially in Europe, Europe now, of course, they all use the euros, but you want to make sure that for each country, there you have the one, but if you're going to a place that has several countries that you're going to, make sure you have a little bit of currency in each of the country that you're going to.
Good idea.
I find that Visa cards work the best. I mean, they work everywhere, so I just use the Visa card most of the time. I love that you can track it.
Visa, not MasterCard?
Or any credit card.
Okay.
Any credit cards,
Okay.
But I make sure I always have, because you want cash for the bus or the market. So you always want to have a little bit available.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. But the credit cards have like the best
exchange rates.
So yeah.
Depends on your type of credit card, because I have a credit card that charges me a fee, fee for a U.S. card. So you got to check
Yes.
You got to check your
Right.
the fine print on your credit card.
Yes. And then, of course, another thing that's really important is getting a travel package for your phone. And because I think the phone is the most important thing next to your passport
Yes.
that you're going to have when you're traveling, because you can use it for everything. Of course, you know,
You want to make plans. You want to call places up. And
it's your phone.
Yeah.
I you know, this last trip I was Googling everything, and so you know, we were doing a lot of walking to places, so you're able to Google because it goes from your location, you put your destination in, and then it literally takes you to that destination. It tells you how far you have to walk. So
that's always handy.
Yeah, and then just, you know, booking your excursions, your Ubers. So there's some really great apps, by the way.
Oh, yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
You were mentioning apps.
Yeah.
So tell us about these apps.
Yeah, and it's good to try to, you know, download these apps prior to leaving.
Right.
And so one of, you know, most people have their weather apps, of course.
Right.
So it's really important because then you can actually see what to pack for. So you can see, it might be sunny while you're packing at home, but it could be pouring rain where you're going to. So I always check the weather and make sure that I have the proper clothing. And then you can also look, you know, into the future and see, okay, well, you know, next week it's going to be rain. So you want to make sure you have rain gear and umbrella. Because, I mean, that can make a trip miserable if you're, don't have those things and
you just have to go shopping again.
Yeah, you can do that too. The other thing I like about the weather app is you can actually see the time zone. So when I look at my weather app while I was in Europe,
right,
and I'd be able to go, okay, what's happening in, you know, Chilliwack,
right,
and then you can see right away what time it is, right? So that's a good way to check.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. Other apps that are great is iTranslate. I mean, there's a couple different ones. Yeah, there's a couple of those different versions. So you just have to find what maybe is best for you. And
so tell us about the iTranslate. Yeah. Do you speak into it, the app, and then it speaks to the person?
They do have actually some hot end where you can actually, now just came out where people can speak and it changes it into the language that you understand. But that's not the app I'm talking. The app I'm talking about where you can actually put your phone onto signs or menus.
Right.
So especially when you go to a restaurant and you're looking at all the French and you do not know what you're ordering, and I've made some really not good mistakes. So
give us an example, like frog legs?
No, just like certain kind of meats that I was like, nothing horribly bad, but you know, yeah. But so basically, you can put your phone over, and it actually translates the lettering into the language that you want to.
When you put your phone over it, you pick up your phone, and then you take the camera.
Yeah, so it opens up in the camera, and so you're looking at the menu.
The camera, it translates it.
Yeah, so you're looking at the menu, and so, you know, at first it's French, and then it slowly converts it over to English.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah. I
love it.
I actually found it worked even better in Italy because it was even hard to figure out those menus. So, and then signs. Sometimes it's important to be able to read a sign.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're driving.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So there's that. The other one is Uber, or, you know, any kind of those Lyfts, Ubers. You know, in France there was Uber, but in Italy where we were, maybe other parts of Italy, it's fine, but they did not have Uber. So we had to go with a regular taxi.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's always good to actually check ahead of time, you know, what they offer. So if you have your Uber app, you can just check out if that's available. So we had that all ready to go when we got to the airport, when we arrived in Nice, and we just, you know, found an Uber, and we were at our Airbnb within 10 minutes. So
nice.
Yeah.
So much easier to travel these days.
Exactly. You should always have your airline app too, because getting notifications, nothing worse than arriving at an airport to leave, and you know, everything's packed up. You get in, you check in, and then all of a sudden you find out your flight's been canceled until the next day, so you're stuck in the airport, right?
Yeah, so, that's no fun.
Yes. And then also the other ones would be Google Maps. Love Google Maps when you're there. So again, you can search out a lot of things. Currency exchange, that's another app I have. So it's basically if I'm shopping in the market and I see something for 50 euros, I mean, it's pretty easy, the euros, but you know, the 50 euros, I'd plunk in the 50 euros and it would tell me exactly how much it was in Canadian. So
that's always handy.
Yeah, so
I like that.
So that was great. TripAdvisor is really good to have just because it excursions and fun things and activities and, you know, promotes Airbnb too. That's another one. Airbnb, you know, we use Airbnbs, but they also have, you know, great places to eat, great excursions to do, and lots of, you know, really unique things. So it actually, you know, goes on for that city. So when you're in that city and you open up your Airbnb, it'll say fun things to do in the city and great places to eat. And so, yeah. It's, yeah. So, you know, download as many apps as possible because it'll, you know, add a lot to your vacation.
So I have a question for you. And the title of this, I can't believe they don't have that here.
Yes.
So can you tell us a couple of things that you noticed that you're like that we consider in Canada to be standard?
Yes.
But they don't have it. What, off the top of your head, what do they have? What don't they have?
Well, the last two trips, which was the southern, you know, Europe and Spain, Portugal, and France and Italy, they did not have a face cloth, and it was not offered at the hotels. It was not offered at the Airbnbs. So
there were no face cloths. So
no, it's always a towel and a hand towel.
Oh, so how do they wash their faces?
I don't know. I don't know. I was confused. I'm like, do I use the hand towel or not? So
a good idea is to bring a face cloth.
Yes, bring a face
with you when you go to Europe.
Exactly.
Oh, really good. Now, what else?
Well, not in items, but like that's basically the item. But in the other thing that they do not have a lot of is public washrooms.
Oh, so what do you do when you have to go to the washroom?
Well, I just walk like I just went into restaurants and just walked like I was, you know, one of their customers and just kind of walked in. And that's
the only way you can go to the washroom?
Yeah, there's no public washrooms anywhere.
Wow.
And the odd one that there is, you have to pay 50, a euro or something.
50 cents?
Yeah, 50 cents, like half a euro.
I think it's called something else.
Which is almost like
a half a euro.
Half a euro, which is almost like 75 cents. And so,
to go to the washroom.
Yeah.
Boy, I would spend a lot of money in a day.
Well, yes. Well, you know the two of us, right?
Yes.
And so, you know.
And then, what are the public? If you got to a public washroom, do they have everything you need there? Like they have toilet paper.
They have toilet paper, but we do not. It's not very common to have the toilet seat. So you have to. So it's really good.
No toilet seat.
Yeah. So mainly you have to squat when you do it.
So you get really good muscles.
Yes. Yeah, so if you want to, work your squat muscles, you might want to do that before you go on vacation because you have to
prep.
Yes, there's a prep.
So most of the toilets are squatting. So what are they squatting over? Like a hole?
No. So it is a toilet.
Okay.
But it does not have a toilet seat. So you
can't sit.
No, you can't sit.
And you wouldn't want to sit.
No, but I did travel through Europe when I was 21, backpacking through Europe. And I remember in Paris and France, traveling through there, it was literally a hole in the ground. And there was a chain that you could hang on to and you'd balance and you'd have to make sure you know.
So they've come a long ways since back then. But they still don't have seats.
Well, it hasn't been that long.
It's way back then.
Way back then when you were young, yeah. So definitely not a lot of public washrooms. So there was a lot of sneaking into restaurants and having to pretend I'm their customer. So
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So, and I think, what about in the restaurants? What don't they have? Because I think I remember you mentioning what they don't have in restaurants.
Well, they don't have a non-smoking section.
They don't?
No.
So you have smokers all around you?
Well, the thing is, we never ever the whole time, like when we went last week maybe, we had the most fantastic weather. So we actually never once ate in a restaurant. We ate in the outdoor patios and cafes. And
nice.
So we're always outside in the restaurants, but there is no non-smoking. So
it's nice to be outside then if there's no non-smoking.
Well, no, because the thing is, it's your tables are right next to each other, right? So like it's almost like when you sit at table 4,
right?
it's basically like that. But it's 2 people here and 2 people here.
So like in Canada here, our tables are nicely spaced
spread. We
out.
have that, and there it's like tiny
They're
little corners.
not spread out?
No, like literally when we're sitting here, us 2,
Right.
and then the other couple sitting here who we have no idea who they are, and the other couple sitting right here.
So basically you can all listen in on each other's conversations.
Absolutely. Well, and they speak French, so I didn't really fully understand, but they can listen to ours, I'm sure, because most people speak English.
Right.
And yeah, so I would say that was my only pet peeve, because the French and Italian people, the last trip we were on were wonderful and this lovely and helpful, but the smoking thing,
Smoking, that would be pretty hard.
yeah, you're trying to have a nice.
You're mentioning something about butter.
Oh yes, yes, right. So
Now that's important to me. I love my butter.
yes,
On
so
my bread.
you get the most amazing bread and croissants and all those things in both France and Italy, and it is always served with oil and vinegar, which
We do that here too.
Yeah, I like it,
You
but
have to have butter once.
I want a big slab of butter on those lovely pieces of French bread. So, and finally, one time I couldn't stand it, so I asked for butter, and they were like so confused, right? And they kept bringing out these other things. I'm like, no, butter, there. So
what were they bringing out besides butter?
well, they brought out cream, they brought out a knife, they brought out, because I'm going, there, but then they brought me a knife, and it's like, no. And then
Well, you do need a butter knife. Right?
Well, you do, but yeah, I already had that, so it was kind of weird. But the other thing too is not very common is when you have your coffee, you might as well have a black. So unless you want to have the full-on, cafe lattes or cappuccinos, it's really hard to get a good cup of coffee with the cream that we're used to, right?
So no milk or cream in the coffee.
You can. It's just
it's not assumed. So when you order
not assumed, exactly. And then
it's black.
Exactly.
Ah.
And so the first trip I went for Portugal and Spain, I always take my coffee press, by the way, with me traveling, because I like my good cup of coffee. And so we stayed at Airbnb, so we had to shop around always to get cream, and it was really hard to ever find something because
so you couldn't buy cream in the grocery store.
No, it was so hard to find.
You couldn't even buy it in the corner store.
It's because it was also one time I got, when I figured out, when I finally had the iTranslate on there, it was it was a certain kind of milk, so I got the wrong milk, and then I got like
goat milk.
No, it was like where they take something out of it. I can't remember what it is, but
they take something out of the milk.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I had 1%, but anyway, it was just very difficult. So actually, this trip I turned to black coffee, and I trained myself before I left, and I drink black coffee now. So.
Oh, so you drink it. So you brought home that European tradition to your home.
Well, I actually practiced before I left, and then was drinking black coffee. So.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
So what are some things to consider for packing that's the average person like me may not think about? So some specific things that you would pack.
Well, obviously, all your clothes and things like that, but just some of the extras. Well, I always take a coffee press, like I said, so I love that. Electrical currency exchange, so that you can plug in your phone charger, your curling iron.
Okay, yes, so like an adapter.
Adapter, that's
yes.
It. And so I have one that basically switches over to the British one, because that's different from the European one. So there's a European one.
So you need 2 different kinds.
Yes. It's usually all in the one gadget.
So you had a gadget with you, and it worked for everything.
Yes.
Then. Nice.
Yes. So definitely do that. Well, you know how anal I can be. So
really? Yes, definitely.
So with my packing, almost all my clothes are black. So when you have all your black clothes in a suitcase, trying to find a specific item is like very difficult. So I bought, and you can just Google this, but all these little different bags of different sizes, and basically all your underwear go into one, all your bras go into the other, all your little tank tops in the other, and leggings in the other, and so you literally have everything all organized.
And really nice.
And it just makes it a lot easier. And I also bought where this one thing, you just literally pack it into the different components, and then you take it out and you hang it.
Oh, so it's packed.
It's
Oh,
packed. It kind of goes down.
Did you see that? Did you get that off one of the advertisements?
Yes.
So I saw that.
Yeah.
So you pack it, and and then you fold it in. But then
goes down, and then
when
you lift it up. You lift it up, and you hang it. It has 2 hangers, and you just hang it.
And then you're unpacked.
And you're unpacked.
Nice.
Well, I had all my shirts and my
Nice.
Yeah. So,
that's so cool.
That's that. And then the other thing is why pack? I've seen with people who I travel with, and they bring huge containers of shampoo and
I don't do that.
actually,
Looked at me.
actually, I'm thinking it's my niece. I remember her doing that. Big bottles of shampoos and big bottles of all these different things.
And you're not going to possibly use it all, right?
No, but it's like get little containers and just take what you need. Fill one with like little bottles, and then you have more room for shopping. Just like what you like to do.
Shopping.
Yeah. So, what else? I usually like to take something where I can, put all my receipts, because that can be a real,
well, especially when you're crossing the border back, sometimes they ask for the receipts.
Yes,
so it's like
exactly.
that all organized.
We'll have it, because, last thing you want to do is scrambling around, trying to remember what you've paid. And so you have that available for the border, especially when you're flying through and you have to go through customs.
Right.
And you have to declare how much you spent. And so the other thing is, and then once you're home, obviously you should always right away check your credit card statement and make sure that that it's correct. So,
yeah. So was yours correct?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than finding out when you get home that there's all these extra charges on it.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, any other tips for traveling to Europe?
Just, again, all those things I said, just, the pre-planning is really important, and, having your list. And so, just so you have everything that you want, you're not scrambling to get a pair of sunglasses or scrambling to get something that you've forgotten, and, getting lost. So having all that detailed out of where you're going is really important. And, always researching ahead of time, finding out what, they might, for some people, not having butter might just kill them. So,
I know. I'd be like, I'm shocked you can't even find them in the corner stores.
Yeah. Well, I didn't look for the butter in the corner store, but the milk, all the milk products. It was, crazy. Again, being familiar, the biggest thing is when you're, first arriving, just have that first thing laid out where you know exactly how to get from the airport to because you're tired and you're hungry and you're like feeling dirty, and so just making it as easy as possible.
And probably just don't do too much on the first day.
Yes,
I would think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you get from the airport and you get to your hotel or your Airbnb, your first inclination is just have a nap, especially if you haven't slept on the plane. But you know what? You want to try to get yourself right to the time zone as quickly as possible. So, for instance, we arrived in Nice at 8 in the morning, but it was actually in the middle of the night for us, right? Going into the nighttime. Right. And so we forced ourselves to stay up, Anna,
you were saying that when we did our show last week on jet lag.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
exactly. So force yourself, and, we drank lots of coffee, and I find it actually easier. They actually say it's harder to go west with jet bounce. But because I travel, when I do travel, most of it's east, and I actually find it more, that's easier, and probably because you're so excited to be there and you just want to go out and see things, and so just do that. So drink lots of water because you get very dehydrated on the plane, so that keeps you energized and feeling better. And usually my biggest thing, and this is a really good tip, is when you go into Europe, especially Europe or many of the different countries, because that first day you are tired, you don't want to overdo it and be walking miles. And so what I find is when I come into a city I'm not familiar with, I always like to kind of do the big picture idea and then detail. So what I do is book a hop on, hop off bus. And they have it in cities all over the world. And it's great because you sit on the bus and because you're tired and you just go around the whole city. And sometimes that could be like a 4-hour bus ride. And it goes to every single, famous site and
Right.
and excursion or location that travelers want to go. And I don't get off. I just kind of get a feeling for the whole city where everything is. I look at where I want to go back to. But so basically, so you're relaxing on the bus, you're getting a great tour, and you're seeing all the wonderful things, and you're planning for what you're going to do in the next few days when you're out of your jet balance.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Excellent idea.
yeah, exactly.
All right. And so, any other things you want to share about Europe besides how beautiful it is?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, and that's why it's you want to have your camera with you all the time,
And that's your phone
yes,
nowadays.
exactly. So have your iPhone and just snapping pictures like crazy because it just
I know I saw them all on
Yeah.
Facebook. Really
yeah,
nice.
the architecture in Europe is just amazing. I just so excited by it.
Oh,
But, yeah,
nice.
yeah. So and the history and so that's basically I would say it for now. But I have lots of more tips to share. But
All right.
We'll
Well,
start with that.
thank you, Jenny, for sharing
yeah,
your tips on traveling to Europe. And I still can't believe they don't have butter.
butter or proper cream anyway.
Or cream.
Face cloths.
Face cloths.
How
Toilet
about-
seats. Public washrooms.
But you know what? Everything else made up for all those things.
No non-smoking area.
Yeah. But you know what? It was worth it with all the other amazing things that they have
Absolutely.
there. And
But that's very interesting.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us
Yeah.
today. And we'll see you next week. We'll let you know what the topic is.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye.